All I'm saying though is I'm trying to manifest with all of my heart and ability the grappling hook into Borderlands 4. That would be so sick and awesome. As you guys probably saw, Gearbox dropped another Borderlands 4 trailer at the Game Awards show on Thursday. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really want to break this down as much as you guys think I might want to, because the trailer is honestly mid. But there's one thing that I promised myself, if it was in the trailer, I'll be making a video for it, and it is that grappling hook. So today, I'm going to be talking about the Borderlands 4 grappling hook, what it could actually lead to in the movement capabilities and other features like that in the game. And of course, I'll be sprinkling some small opinions about the actual trailer and some other things that I could see that are really worrying, or some things that are really good for Borderlands 4. Let's jump into it.
You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
First of all, before we continue, I manifested this! I manifested this! I'm joking. But let's actually break down the clip from the gameplay trailer. And it shouldn't take too long, as it's just a 3-second clip. As you see in the trailer, it says break free, and then right after that, it cuts to one of the Vault Hunters shooting this blue beam to this node, and then connecting to it and launching themselves onto a ledge and just start kicking ass. There are a lot of questions I do have about the grappling hook and what it could actually mean for the movement capabilities in this game. The first thing I need to talk about is the node on the ledge that allows the grappling hook to launch the Vault Hunter up. Now, a lot of people are saying this system seems very limited, because if it's only these pre-placed nodes onto the ledge, then there's not going to be a lot of freedom with the grappling hook's movement tech. And I'm in full agreement if that's the case. What's the point of adding grappling hook if it's only very limited to certain sections of the game? But I definitely do see some benefits of just sticking to a node system. Although I was just saying that it would be terrible if it's only on ledges, I don't think they would use those nodes only on those surfaces. I think the nodes could be used in the same way that they use them in Ultra Kill, where they're kind of just up in the middle of the arena and players can swing off and use them to kind of just move around the map, and they would be placed plentifully throughout the entire area that the player's in. They could also have the nodes attached to different parts of the map as well, maybe even on the ground, so players can quickly get to the ground without getting attacked. There's a lot of different avenues they can go with the system. But we also don't even know if the grappling hook can attach to players themselves. I'm gonna be honest, I really hope it can attach to players, but I don't think they're gonna go that route. Based on the shape of the grappling hook and how it looks within the gameplay footage, I don't think there's any way to actually grab the enemies and either go to them or pull them towards yourself. Now with this implementation, I feel like the map designs are going to be a lot more vertical, which I think would be a great change, and we can kind of see that with some of the maps shown in the trailer itself. Obviously, we have the more open sections of the game, and some maps there's a lot of verticality with how the players can traverse. But anyway, we can stop talking about the nodes. Actually, we'll come back to them, but I want to kind of diverge into talking about the grappling hook itself and how it's implemented into the Vault Hunters kits. I don't think it's going to be a relic like I thought it would be, but I think it will just be a one-time thing you pick up in the story. It's like, oh, here's a grappling hook, and then you just have that within your toolkit. Now, I don't really like that personally. I wish there was some like variance with the grappling hook and how it impacted the player's playstyle. I could be completely wrong on this, but just based on the footage we've seen, it looks like it's just a one-time pickup and you have it. Even then, the fact we have a grappling hook, I'm very happy to see it in general. Now, the last thing I really need to mention about the grappling hook is its implementation with only one of the Vault Hunters. Because I've seen a lot of people say that only the big guy, or whatever guy we're looking at in the trailer, is the only one with the grappling hook. And I would disagree, based on the notion that I don't think Gearbox would add just a bunch of nodes around the map for only one Vault Hunter. I think that is pretty ridiculous. Some may think, oh, maybe the Vault Hunter has a way to shoot these nodes onto different surfaces to allow them to get from point A to point B. The one thing that kind of counteracts this point is if you look at one of the images that Randy and most of the Borderlands social medias have been posting all around on Twitter and everywhere else, you can see that the nodes are present on the ledges already. So there's no way for the Vault Hunter to actually place it themselves. And that's all I really have to say about the grappling hook shown in the new Borderlands 4 trailer. Now, if you want to see more discussions relating to the grappling hook, I have a full video talking about what I would like to see from a grappling hook in a Borderlands game. It will be linked in the description, and I highly suggest you watch it after finishing this video. Now, to get to the more boring stuff of the trailer, we're going to talk about some small things that I either didn't like about the trailer or things that I think could help the game actually be really good. Anyway, let's get on to it.
Time to play the game.
Now, I assume the first thing in your guys' mind, or at least this was the first thing before the grappling hook showed up in the trailer, was the Vault Hunter designs. And let me tell you,
what the fuck is this piece of shit?
they are absolute trash. I've never really been disappointed with a Vault Hunter design until now. Even like the previous games, like Borderlands 3, I've heard some people say that the designs are too simple and stuff, but I wasn't too disappointed with those designs in the first place. But these ones just seem super generic and something that would come out of New Tales. And it kind of honestly looks like those NPCs in the first episode. I'll probably put something on screen, but it just gives me that vibe instead of being able to play as some badass Vault Hunter. I think what makes a very stark contrast with these Vault Hunters is the difference between simple and generic. A lot of people conflate these terms and say that they're pretty much one and the same. Salvador and Accent have very simple designs, but they're very unique to their own games in their own respects. If you compare them with NPCs, enemies, they're not even in the same league. It's that simple. Same thing with the pre-sequel Vault Hunters. Very simple designs, especially Nisha, but it works in her case because of the environment she is in and how much she stands out. These Vault Hunters are so generic that they don't stand out at all in the first place. Even a change of color palette doesn't help with how cool they look. Their actual design is just terrible. Like for example, the guy on the far left, the first initial thought I had was, that's just Zane. And that's really it. That was my first initial thought. And the guy, I'm not even joking, the guy middle right, I literally thought, man, that's just Jake the Viking from Mr. Beast. That was the first thought I had in my mind. And he just doesn't pop. It seems like something that comes out of the Wonderlands create a character section. It just doesn't stand out. And I've seen people point this out as well. The character on the far right just looks like Lifeline from Apex. So there's not a lot of uniqueness within these character models, and they just share so many similarities with either stuff relating into the Borderlands universe or other forms of media. The Siren is somewhat unique in comparison to the other Vault Hunters, but then yet again, she just doesn't pop. And I don't even think it comes down to the color choices and stuff. It's just I don't really see anything super special with her in general. But that might just be me. I don't know what to really say other than I think they kind of dropped the ball on the designs for the Vault Hunters, and I think they need to have good customization options to actually make them seem more unique. Now, I did hear that Borderlands 4 is going to be seamless. It's not something we saw directly in the trailer. We kind of did see it in quotations with the foreground, and how Randy said that everything you see you can access without needing to transition. He used the word seamless world. So it's basically an open world, and I see that as a negative thing, because if Gearbox can't even optimize a game that's somewhat of a limited open world where there's fast travels and specific maps and it's not all into one big section, I don't know how they'll do it for this new open world. I mean, I hope for the best as always, but I don't really see how they're going to pull it off. But I always like to be proven wrong. And then the last thing I like to mention is the villain. I think he looks pretty dope and is a villain in a way better direction than the Calypso twins. My main concern is the name of the villain, the Timekeeper. Obviously, there has to be something related to time and time manipulation. There's no way there's not with a name like that for the main villain. Knowing Gearbox writing, especially with the last titles with Wonderlands, Borderlands 3, and New Tales especially, I am very concerned with what they're going to be doing with this plot point and how it's going to turn out, because usually a lot of people, even like really good writers, struggle with time related plot points. So to have something like this with writers I don't really feel comfortable with when it comes to writing actually good stories, it's going to be an absolute shit show. Again, I've mentioned this many times already. I hope I'm wrong and it is the best game of all time, but it's not looking like that so far. Overall, this trailer doesn't really seem to be anything that special and is kind of mid in general. Although I'm very excited to see the grappling hook, there are a lot of other things that make me very worried for what Borderlands 4 has coming for it. But I always want to just try to stay optimistic and hope for the best. And as I mentioned before, we need to see gameplay before we can really say anything else, as this is just one of the first trailers. Anyways, I appreciate y'all for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like, leave a comment. I always love reading y'all's comments, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of you, and I'll be talking to you later. Peace.